everybody. This is our fourth in the series of live videos that I'm making on my Magical Change Emotional Support for Kids page on Facebook. I'm trying in this series to do a number of things. I've started off in the first video by talking about how the whole thing started. Then I went on to describe some of the ways in which it has developed. The last time I spoke, I was looking at the kinds of problems that children have that can benefit from the Magical Change method. And tonight I want to look at some of the strands within the method that might be working. So first of all, from the child's point of view, I think there's a number of things that are important. So they feel like somebody's taking their problem seriously. They feel like somebody understands and knows what that might be like, so they have some kind of shared experience. They feel thoroughly listened to, so it's not an adult trying to best guess what might be right or wrong for them. And it's talking to them in ways in which they can identify and understand. So the sorts of language that I'm talking to them in is using strands that children are interested in. So there's elements of games, there's elements of challenges, there's elements of reward, there's elements of showing that you've achieved. So everything that children like, stickers, certificates, are all part of the method. But of course it's way more complicated than that. From the point of view of the parent, I think what strands are helpful to them is that they're also listened to. That there's no probing. It's not. It kind of almost doesn't matter what the problem is, because the method addresses such a wide range of issues. So I'm not delving and digging into your private family affairs. We're looking at what your child is presenting like, what problems that's creating for them and for you. But I would start with, in every conversation that I have with children, by going with what they say their problem is, because they're invested in doing something about that. If the parent feels that that problem is something slightly different, then we can work around to that eventually, but I always start with what the child's telling me. I think the children feel like they have a new friend who's interested in them doing well, and who wouldn't like that, whether that's a child or an adult. Parents are fully involved in the whole process, so they're there whilst the conversation's happening. I think in the early days I used to think, I wonder if there's one particular strand which, if I didn't mention it in one conversation, would end up by being the magic bullet. But I don't believe that that's the case now. I believe that each child takes from that conversation A, what they understand, and B, what they think is doable. But having the parent in the room also means that the parent's heard everything in a relaxed kind of way, because I'm not expecting any input from the parent. So the parent can listen and take in, and away from that conversation, what they think might help their child with. So in my final live video, which will be in another couple of days' time next week, I'll be looking then at ways in which I work with children, and I'm hoping to work with children in the future. So I look forward to seeing you then.